You are watching Access LaPorte County Channel 97. Coming up next is the February 19th meeting of the Michigan City Port Authority Commission. You can find more information for this meeting at www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Welcome to the Michigan City Port Authority Board of Directors meeting, February 19th. I call the meeting to order, and I'm looking for approval or corrections to February 5th meeting minutes.
Make a motion to accept the minutes as stated.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Perfect. Any comments from the public? Good? Nice to see you. All right, reports from the harbor master, Mr. Frank.
All right, well, since we're not really anymore having much of a winter, we've started putting the marina back together for spring. So I think last time I mentioned we were getting ready to pull the de-icers. We've pulled all the de-icers. This week we'll be putting the safety ladders back in. We have 2 charter boats lined up on the schedule to go in the water March 1st already, assuming the weather stays the way it is. So we're going to start working on the floating dock out here a little bit. We've got some repairs and upgrades to do to that. In the meantime, the electricians were here today. They started going through and checking all the outlets and the breakers and everything. And other than that, things are normal. So unless anybody has any questions.
Didn't find any problems, huh?
So far not. Yeah, I think they just started today though.
Okay.
So.
Tip, I'm one of those people that are down around just because I love the lake, I love the lake shore. Mm-hmm. So I was down this morning and looking around, I thought, wow, I know we've talked about the lake level and where it is and the reference to it from a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. I was just looking at the 800 dock. The water level seems to be down quite a bit, and I was thinking, are we making enough provisions to have ladders available for some of these?
We have plenty.
Okay, that's just my first thing that came to my head.
We have a lot of them from when the water was at record lows.
Okay.
And we're still just barely below the long-term average, so we're good.
Okay, just wanted to bring it up because I thought, wow, that's a big jump to get down in your boat if you got some low ones in there. Mm-hmm. All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else? All right. Reports from the assistant harbor master, Ms. Pulte.
As I said in the last meeting, we were going to work on the invoices. Everything has been mailed out for the last payment on the slips. We're also participating in the city food drive for the park department. If anyone wants to donate, they're welcome to. I've left everybody's got this in their packet. And that's all I have for today.
Citywide, And where does this all go?
I think you can bring it here and then they pick it up here.
The park department has a couple of food pantries in the parks.
Okay.
Yeah, we saw one over at Gardena Playground yesterday. We're out walking. That's kind of nice.
Walter Street Garden.
Well stocked.
All right. That's it. Mr. Ferguson, budget, financial oversight, and review approval of the bills to be paid.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just the bills tonight. We have bills that total $15,057.61. The detail pretty much says it all. The detail page. Nothing's very big. The biggest one being a $3,600 item. Why don't you take a look at that? There are 5 of them. If you have any questions there or anything else on the page, bring it up. Otherwise, I'll make a motion to I'll make a motion, I'll go ahead and pay to pay the bills as stated, the $15,057.61 as stated.
Second.
I had a question to Marianne on the last one on the Aquarius Sale Incorporated and the Wanderlust. She said that the Wanderlust was a different advertising thing that we've gone to, and I'm sure Amanda could touch base on that specifically if we need to. The rest pretty straightforward. The Aquarius Sale, Tim or Marianne, could you just mention what that is?
It's a catamaran that was in storage that got bumped into a couple times and had some fiberglass damage.
Okay. Other than that, I can't think of anything that needs to be scrutinized too much.
Any questions, Bruce?
Nope.
Good. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, Mr. Haynes, claims and insurance.
I have nothing to report.
Board operations, Tim pretty much said it all. We're just in go mode right now. No one's heard any other issues that we know of so far, so. And hopefully they'll come see the office and if they have any issues.
Absolutely.
Best place to start. So other than that, Mr. Messina's not available tonight. Mr. Manor, Master Planning Special Projects and Park Liaison.
I have nothing to report.
Ms. Butner, Advertising Public Relations.
I have something to report. So as Mr. Berger was saying, there's a $2,700 bill for Wanderlust. That was DACWA who used last year. They just updated their name to Wanderlust. They handle all the transient people coming in, staying for the night. The great thing about their system is they can tell you exactly how long their boat is, what kind of wattage they need. So if they did need 50 watt amp instead of 25s, it specifically says on there. So then that helps us, get to where they need to have their boat to give them the proper accommodations. So yeah, I'm really glad that we're continuing with them. And then we have another one for $360, I believe, and that is to the Michigan City Chamber of Commerce. Yep. And that's just kind of pretty much what we do every year, so just following in line.
Is that all your money? Do you have any more to spend?
Oh, we have some play money. Yeah, we're gonna be talking to Mr. Gresham with the city and seeing what events we're gonna be sponsoring this year. Always have to have the play money.
All right. Anything else for Amanda? Okay, well, the most exciting report of the evening, Mr. Zach Newell.
This evening, I passed out to board members the annual report of the internal controls, policies, and procedures. I went over some of it briefly at our last meeting, but I'll go into it more in depth here tonight. As I indicated at last month's meeting, or the meeting earlier this month, the committee has concluded that our controls are functioning as they are intended to function. Management and staff are unaware of any material breaches of the internal controls policies, of our ethics and conflict of interest policy, or any instances which would have required us to report material variances, losses, and shortages. You recall that we did have the shortages at the gas stock. I've attached the memorandum that I prepared last September to the February report, the 2023 report. Our conclusion there was that these were not losses subject to the reporting requirements because they were not misappropriation. It was oversight, it was inadvertence, it was negligence, but it was not a reportable event. But I nevertheless include the memo because there was a shortage and a loss, albeit not a reportable one. The State Board of Accounts will conduct its annual audit of the City of Michigan City. In connection with the Michigan City audit, the Port Authority gets audited. For purposes of 2022, although we were audited, there was nothing mentioned in the State Board of Accounts audit report relative to our activities, and no mention is a good thing. they mention you, it's because you're doing something wrong. And that did not occur in 2022. We're hopeful that 2023 will be the same. They'll do their audit of the city. Nothing will be mentioned about the Port Authority because we're doing everything right.
Do we know when that time period is?
The first quarter of 2024, when they'll get audited for 2023. I mentioned that we had no suspected material violations or losses and no reportable violations or losses. The Port Authority did not hire any full-time employees in 2023, but staff ensures that each time we hire an employee, whether they're full-time or part-time, they're given copies of all our policies and procedures, and they sign a ledger indicating that they have been provided those. They're encouraged to read them, that they need to read them. As you may recall, the Port Authority passed a random, well, it's not exactly a random drug test. It's a drug and alcohol testing policy that occurs when a Port Authority employee is involved in an accident of some sort. And so we will test in those instances. We did not have any such instances, so our drug and alcohol testing policy did not come into play in 2023. However, all Port Authority employees remain subject to the city's random drug and alcohol testing policy. So a Port Authority employee could be called up for a random test as a city employee. Employee evaluations now, and they have for the past couple of years, include instances or questions about whether the employee is aware of and understands his or her obligations to follow the internal controls policies and procedures manual and the ethics policy and all the other policies that we have, including the obligations to report material variances and losses and shortages. Staff continues to impart that to new and current employees and incorporate them into their evaluations. 2023 developments, although we do have a new mayor, nothing so far has changed in terms of her administration that have impacted the Port Authority or any of its internal controls protocols. There were no issues related to the Controller's Office or management's interaction with the Controller's Office. And there may have been a couple of changes in personnel there, but none of the policies have changed. The city continues to audit the Port Authority's requests for checks and things of that nature. All those policies are still in place. One of the issues that has been ongoing for a couple of years now is the Trail Creek launch fee collections. Management has incorporated the use of a handheld device, which the launch attendants can use to give a boater who launches their written receipt. The boaters seem to be getting more attuned to the ability to use credit cards there because of the handheld reader. Management reports that the handheld readers appear to be working as intended. We also still have the occasional audit, and the cameras are still pointed there, so there can be audits other than the handheld reader to make sure that there's no shrinkage in terms of collections for launch fees. Parking sticker control, that was an issue a few years ago. Management has reported no issues involving counterfeit parking stickers that they're aware of. Access to and protection of Port Authority property. We had no reports of theft or damage to Port Authority property, although there were 3 boaters who reported incidents, together less than 3, we think, incidents where boaters reported incidents of either theft or damage to their property to the Michigan City Police Department. There may be a number of instances where someone says something happened to a boat, or they lost property on the boat, or property at or near the boat was stolen, but they don't make a police report. And without a police report, there's very little you can do. So in terms of our security, our assets have been fine. A few boaters, less than 3 again, indicated that they had some incident involving their property, which was reported to police. As you know, we've added additional cameras throughout the property. There's no reason to go into what other security measures have been implemented because you don't want to tell what your security is in a public forum. There have been no changes in legislation, regulation, or policies of which either I or staff am aware, but we regularly monitor changes to see if there's anything that affects the Port Authority and its protocol. During the period covered by this report, there were no new contracts with any vendors that would indicate that there might be a loss prevention issue. We don't see that there's any additional risk in 2023 because of any vendors. There have been no changes with the vendors. We're using the same vendors we did before. They're paid the same way. Management was unaware of any instances in which the Port Authority's network or its computer systems were hacked or the victim of an intrusion, virus, or malware. Port Authority adheres to and abides by the city's security protocols. The city IT department provides first level of virus protection and network security. We follow city IT approved antivirus software like that. And we use the city's protocols in terms of changing user passwords and not leaving your password open and obvious for anybody to see. That's all I have on the report. If anybody has any questions, Mr. Manner pointed out a couple of typographical errors that I missed. I apologize for those, and next year I'll be sure there will be no typos.
You know, he's reading.
I know, you got notes throughout the whole thing.
It's time to do it. For sure.
I think, can I, just a follow-up here, Joe mentioned no new hires in the last year, and while it's a small point, I thought we did hire some people earlier last spring, but was the previous year? Okay,
Yeah.
and then we
Right
had,
at the tail end of the previous.
Yeah.
okay, and then we also had some part-time, full-time, but that was after the first of this
Right.
year.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's all I had.
Cooper, you got anything here at the end? One more chance. No new business, no old business.
One of the past meetings, they spoke about the Dockside Cafe. Was it being re-rented to the same person that went last year?
Bid has to go out.
Yeah, we've got to bid it out.
Okay.
Yeah. When is that lease up?
Well, technically it's up now already.
Okay, yeah, then I'll work with you guys this week and we'll get the bid out
Okay.
and the notice.
Any comments, John? You don't know somebody that might wanna?
No, no.
He has plenty of spaces.
No, because I like what we have over there, I just didn't know if anybody was interested. Thank you.
You never know, that's for sure. Anybody else have anything else?
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Sure.